All right, class, this is the last video in our discussion of section 4.3 in your textbook on logarithmic functions. We're going to be covering in this lecture page 8 of section 4.3, part 2, your handout for part 2 of section 4.3. So on page 8, we are giving the first example, first problem here. We're given the graph of a logarithmic function. This is typically what the graph of a logarithmic function looks like. It crosses the x-axis at x equals 1, and the y-axis is a vertical asymptote. The graph of the function gets close to the y-axis but doesn't cross it or touch it. And this is the typical shape for a logarithmic function when the base of the function a is greater than 1. So here we got to find a function of the form y is equal to log base a of x. Remember, this is an equation, and the equation is a relation between two variables. X is the input variable or independent variable. Y is the output or dependent variable. And a is the base of our logarithmic equation. And so we have to determine what the value of a is from the graph over here. Well, the graph of the logarithmic function passes through the point 5, 1. 5 is the x-coordinate, 1 is the y-coordinate. So to determine the base of this logarithmic function, we plug 5 in for x on the right-hand side of the equation and 1 in for y on the left-hand side. And we have 1 is equal to log base a of 5. Then we switch the two sides of the equation, and we have log base a of 5 is equal to 1. And now, you know, for every logarithmic equation, there's the corresponding exponential equation. So the exponential equation that goes with this logarithmic equation is a to the first power is equal to 5. Well, a to the first power is just a. So we have a is equal to 5, and now we plug in 5 in for a up here, and our final answer is y is equal to log base 5 of x. So this graph up here at the top of the page is the graph of the equation y equals log base 5 of x, and this is our final answer. In the next example, you're given a graph of another logarithmic equation, and we got to figure out what the the value of a is. Well, the logarithmic equation, the graph of the logarithmic equation passes through the point 1/2 minus 1. 1/2 is the x-coordinate, minus 1 is the y-coordinate. So to determine a, we plug in 1/2 in for x on the right-hand side of the equation, and minus 1 in for y on the left-hand side. And we have minus 1 is equal to log base a of 1/2. And we switch the two sides of the equation. We have log base a of 1/2 is equal to minus 1. And now the exponential equation that goes with this logarithmic equation is a to the minus 1 is equal to 1/2. And you know, a to the minus 1 can be written as 1 over a to the plus 1. So just 1 over a, so we have 1 over a is equal to 1/2, and now we got to solve for a. So you can multiply both sides of this equation by 2 times a, or you can just cross multiply, and when you cross multiply you have a times 1 is a is equal to 1 times 2 is 2, and so we have a is equal to 2. So we replace a up here with 2, and the answer to our question is this is a graph of what function or equation? Logarithmic equation. It's y equals log base 2 of x. So this graph up here is the graph of the equation y is equal to log base 2 of x. And so this is our final answer down here.